Good evening, everyone. I hope you all had a wonderful eclipse. I sure did. It was actually quite exciting. We got to see a lot more of the eclipse. I would say about 85% total in here in Georgia. So that was a lot of fun. It's definitely stirred up the energies for sure. Got lots of questions submitted for this evening. I don't know if I can get to all of them, but I am going to try. If this is your first time joining, welcome. Thank you for participating and being interested in this work. And of course, that same gratitude goes out to all of you who have been tuning in regularly. I really appreciate being able to share this. As a matter of fact, right before we went live, I was telling the guides, I was like, just thank you so much for lining this up and for giving me the opportunity to share this work and share the messages. So, just semantics that we do. I am Betsy Grady, and I am working with the Akashic Records. Today is Wednesday, April 10th, a couple days after this giant eclipse. I know you're all still feeling the energies moving, and we will for quite some time. There's a lot of change, a lot of change, and I would say big change is happening for many of you, if not all of us. So hang in there. What we're going to do tonight, I'm going to read the prayer like I always do. I'll take a second to connect. We'll see what general message comes through from the guides, and then I will hop into your questions. So, and I always recommend whatever you're doing, whenever you're coming to this material, if it feels right to you, just let yourself, I would say, relax, close your eyes while I read the prayer, and just feel yourself being open, ready to receive whatever it is you need to receive tonight. And remember, even if you didn't submit a question, your guides are orchestrating you being here. And there's going to be some message you need to hear tonight. And that I will assure you. So just let yourself relax, be open, ready to receive, and let's get started. Okay. Gotta have my little stone. I ask God if He will have a shield of love and truth around you permanently, so only God's love and truth will exist between you and me. I allow the masters, teachers, and loved ones of you to channel through me out of whatever realm to say whatever they wish. I ask the permission of the Lords of the Akashic Records, so I'm able to look into the records of you and remove whatever information I'm allowed. Okay. Okay. We are going to start with a general message from the guides. They want to address the energies that are going on right now because there is so much change happening for everyone, and I would say that for everyone individually tuning in, just everyone on the planet right now. It's kind of like the moon affects the tides all over the planet. It's like the eclipse energy is affecting people all over the planet. No drop of water goes unaffected by the moon. No person is going unaffected by the, I would say, energy of the times right now. So one of the things, oh, here comes Binks in his little spring shave. Oh my goodness. That's so funny. Come here, buddy. I love this kitty. Are you going to come over and say hi? Yeah? What? I don't know if y'all can hear him. He is purring up a storm. Anyway, so one of the things the guides are saying when we're looking at this change, and a lot of this change, well, what the guides say with every change, it does require endings and beginnings. You know, for something new to start, something has to end. And oftentimes when endings occur, they don't always feel positive. They're not always happy. Some of it feels forced, and grief always ensues. So, a couple of things. One thing the guides are saying, grief is they would have us look at it as a blessing of sorts, because grief heightens our sensitivities. We feel more, and grief really reminds us that we are alive and we feel strongly about things, but it also increases our sensitivities. And so your intuition gets stronger, your ability to sense, know, and feel gets stronger. So remember, that's a gift that you'll be mining out of this process of grief. And I'm talking about grief when something in our life ends, before we can even look at what the new beginning is about. Um, the other thing the guides want to share is, if we would get in the habit of looking at life and situations from the perspective of our higher self, that wiser part of us, it's like the soul part of us. They said things would move a lot differently here for us, because when we hold a different perspective, we hold a different experience. And okay, so what they want to say, rule of thumb, if we are having negative, I'm sorry, y'all, my other cat is on the other side of the computer, rubbing her face on it. So they really want to be involved tonight. Um, so if we are having negative feelings, if we feel icky about something, or feel, well, just let's just say negative feelings, what they are saying is that the reason they feel negative is because it's contrary to how our higher self is looking at a situation. So if something in our life is happening or not happening, and we're feeling, um, just say, negative emotions around it, it's because our higher self has a different perspective. And so there's a little conflict within us in how we're viewing a situation. So think of it this way too. The higher part of us never judges. The higher part of us looks at a situation and determines how it serves. And if it doesn't serve, then how did, why did it present itself to me, so to speak? And how am I going to be changed for this? Somehow, some way, it is going to serve you. And that's what your higher self is going to look at. And sometimes you have to dig really deep, because it's bringing up, could be shadow aspects of self, but it could be parts of you that you just haven't quite embraced yet or allowed yourself to live into fully. So the higher self is going to ask that question. Now, at the same time, there is contrast on the planet. That's what it's about. We can't know hot unless we know cold, because we have to have these things to compare, so that we know. And we live in this world of duality. Yet still, just to reiterate, and this is the guide saying this, your higher self refrains from judging. Your higher self looks at everything as the divine looks at things, with eyes of love, and comes to the understanding of how something's serving you or it's not, and we move on. And sometimes something, when I say it's not serving you, it when you come to that conclusion, it's serving you in the sense that you make the decision to choose something else. I hope that makes sense and is not confusing, but that's how that's coming through. So be okay with contrast. Understand that contrast is part of the guidance system here, that helps you navigate the path. It's kind of like, don't want that, but I do want that. Sometimes we have to come up with what we don't want to really understand and have more clarity around what we do want. So that contrast is serving. Really, everything about your journey is serving you. And the other thing that's really, really, really important to hear is that this is your journey, no one else's, your journey. And so, how a situation may be serving you is just yours, serving you in that way. And the same thing could be happening for friends or family members. You all could be affected by the exact same experience, yet it's going to serve each of you in very different ways. And so you have to be mindful that what's yours is yours. And Refrain from projecting those thoughts and feelings onto anybody else, because we do not know what another soul's journey is about and why they've called something forth, why they're having the experiences they're having. We can project all day long of what we think they need, how to fix it, how to whatever that might be. Yet refrain from doing that. Just observe, be curious, send love, because that's what the divine does. So when you don't know how to respond to something, do what the divine does. Oh, I love that. Do what your higher self would do. Refrain from judging, refrain from having an opinion, and just be loving. Just be loving. And however that being loving looks for you, it would be natural, easy, organic, nothing forced, nothing should, nothing that you feel like you have to do, fix, whatever, be. Um, does that make sense? I hope so. I just love that message. Might have to replay this one a few times to really let that sink in. Okay, let me just see. Anything else? Your guides are saying, and this really, because we're human, we're having these human experiences and we're having real stuff down here. We are. And yet at the same time, the guides are saying when you can reach for that higher perspective where there's no judgment, no opinions, there's, you could say, understanding and acceptance. It's almost like you're being served these ingredients. What are you going to make with it? You know, how is this experience changing you? How is it serving you? What parts of you are getting to show up? Do you like those parts? If not, what parts do you want to show up? But just remember, when you can have appreciation for something, it frees you from feeling negative. And not that negative is bad. Remember, we have to have this contrast here. That's what this world is about. It's pointing us in a different direction, though. And so look for that different direction. Does that make sense? It's kind of like when one door closes, look for the one that's open. There's always going to be an open way. And what I think is really important here, they want you to know, no matter how bleak the path looks, it's still a path and it's still walkable. It's it is still there. The path is not going away. And you may feel stuck or immobile, yet the path is still there and it's still unfolding, and there is divine assistance around you. So tap into your own divineness and align with that divine that's around you. Come from that place more often and just watch what kind of flow you get in. That's really lovely. Okay. I'm going to hop over here to some questions. Now, we got a bunch of questions tonight, and I don't know if I'm going to be able to get to all of them. When you send your questions in, sometimes I might be getting 2 or 3 questions in one. In one, I'm just, in order to condense, I might just only answer one. I'm so glad Binks is here. And I don't always need the backstory. Yet I'm happy to read it, but I won't be able to read all of that here because it would take up so much time. Okay, I'm going to start. And I also, just so you know, tend to go just first come, first serve. So whoever gets their questions in first, I just kind of go in that order. So I'm probably going to go a little fast tonight, trying to get everybody's in. And if I don't, we'll figure something out. Maybe I'll do another little pop-up this week. First of all, I want to tell you too, if y'all have been watching the videos, that blue marble that came up, I don't know, 3 videos ago, and then someone found a blue marble. Now this is, I'm looking at Alabama right now. So the blue marble story started in Mobile. Somebody in Birmingham found a marble in their garden after the video. And I got one from Fairhope. Look at that. Can y'all see it? On Easter Sunday, she was in her garden and there was a blue marble. I'm like, this is just so cool. I'm even thinking we might have to do the Blue Marbles Society, or just if y'all find blue marbles, please send those pictures in. I think it's just so much fun, and just a neat little way the guides are connecting us. Okay, let's see. Questions. This is my first question here. So there's three questions in this one. I'm going to do the third one. Would I be happier if I sold my house and bought a condo or rented an apartment? Okay. Well, the second one is, where's the best domestic co-housing community to visit that's also functioning as either a walkable community or some large body of water? Okay. So the guides want to answer this question, those two together. So they are telling me that yes, you would be happier if you sold your house and moved to an apartment or a condo. And one of the things, the idea of co-housing, now whether you find that in your immediate area or not doesn't matter, but the idea of it is appealing. And co-housing, if you're not familiar, to anyone watching, it's established communities where that's really what it is. It is a community, and the neighborhood is a neighborhood. It is there's gardening and there's gatherings, and it's kind of maybe the old hippies of us would have called them communes, but it's not quite like that. It's structured, it's planned, and people participate in getting to know each other and be there for each other. And it's so much more involved in that. And if you want to look up communities, there's I think it's called cohousing.org. You can search in the country for communities that are built on this premise. So what your guides are saying is your second question really leads to your third question's answer. And because co-housing, sense of community, sense of feeling belonging, just participating with other like-minded beings is very important to you. And they said being in an apartment area or a condo area, even if it's temporary year or two, you would find a little bit more exciting because there'd be more people around and more things to do. It looks like a little bit more organized, I guess play is a good way to put it, events planned. So that would be something ideal for you to look at. Absolutely. And I'm hearing you would be happier in that. And would it be a step closer to, getting into that co-housing place? Yes. But moving towards community is important, and like mind is important. And so when you're looking, look for places that do have, events or classes, things like that that are also offered. And if you wanted to own a home, there are neighborhoods that have community classes and stuff like that too. But it does look like that would be really important for you to move towards. So, okay. Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining. Okay. Okay. So we had a birthday on Monday and the total eclipse. So is there any message for me? Let's see here. Okay. So I am hearing not only to tell you happy birthday, um, hmm, that what an auspicious day to have your birthday with this total eclipse. It's like, wow, big energy all around. And what you're to understand from that is very symbolic of you and who you are and what this year is going to be about for you. And so it's like where people really gathered to experience the eclipse, because it was like there's this once in 20 years time for many of us. It might be the last one we see. But they are saying with this big energy being on your birthday, now this is coming down from your loved ones, not necessarily your guides. They want you to know that your energy is big, rare, and valuable and worth seeing. And you're going to get to experience that this year. So this year for you, this whole calendar year that kicked off on Monday, I would call your big energy year. And it's meant to be seen, it's meant to be shared, it's meant to be adored and appreciated. And things are just getting started for you. So hang on here. I am seeing a gift coming your way. I don't know what this gift is going to look like, but I would say it's going to be around April 2021. For some reason, they're just showing me a gift being handed to you, but you're just getting started. Get ready for an exciting year. Lots of change still to come, but gifts on the way for sure, for sure, for sure. And I'm hearing to tell you, you look great, great, fabulous. So, hang on here. Yeah, better than you ever have. So, and that is a mirror of your energy together. Just, I would say, mind, body, spirit for you is really reflecting in how great you look. So that's what I'm here to tell you. Okay, that's fun. Okay. So, all right, here's another question. Could you please ask my spirit team for an eclipse message on how best to streamline with intent and reclaim the true purpose for my life's path? I feel it collapsed in a burnout, which isn't a surprise. Um, let's see here. I realize it's a big open ended question, but it's about safety, is what comes to mind, which I know is a false concern, but it was compromised. Okay. Spirit team for an eclipse message, how to best streamline with intent and reclaim my true purpose. Okay. Well, remember, you're not off your path. The path is still there. It may just be a little foggy, like that you can't see through right now, yet you're still on the path. So, how to streamline with intent? Okay, give me 1 second here. Well, you know, this is so interesting what the guides were saying in the beginning. Sometimes we have to go through what we don't want in order to be directed to what we do want. And they really would like for you to start here. They said there needs to be more clarity around what you do want. And take off the table about your life's purpose, because your life's purpose is living, it is being here. And the purpose of your life is to be having this life. And it's not about, I have to do these things, I have to serve, I have to, somebody's got a plan for me. It's none of that. I'm just telling you, it's none of that. It is life. Your life purpose is your life. And what you choose to do with your life is totally up to you. It's your choice, your journey. If you feel led to something, great. If not, don't worry about it. Not all of us are here to serve. And that's just something we're taught. So free yourself from that. And they said, really start to think about, what do you want? If you could write your ideal script for a life, you being the main character, the main star, that's where you need to start. They said they would like it if you would make that list or have that active imagination and imagine, what an ideal life for you would look like. Take away any of the, I should be doing this, or I have to do this, or my life's a failure if I'm not providing, or if I'm not doing. Just take all that off the table, because life is not about that. Life is about listening to your heart, listening to that divine inner wisdom, being connected to that source, and trusting in the guidance of that. You know, um, so many of us, we have grand ideas of what we need to be doing and living and being. And it's like, just drop all that. Be easy about this. That's what life's about, is coming into peace and connection with that, writing down what your ideal life looks like, even if it seems just crazy. Who cares? Just write it down and then see how you might move towards that. But first, they said, before you start to streamline any intent, be really clear with what you want. And even if that means write your list of what you don't want, write that first. they said this would be very helpful to you. So they would start there. And then with that, it's almost like when you have that clear vision of how you would like to be here, what aspects of yourself you'd like to be living in, then that intent's already naturally streamlined. So, what a great answer. Great question. Thank you for asking that. I think we could all benefit from that one. Okay. Next question. I am going through some difficult things and I was hoping that I'm going in the right direction. Difficult decisions have to be made since I've become a full-fledged caregiver. Is there anything I need to know? I'm trying to stay positive, but it's hard. Thank you. Wow, isn't this just so remarkable? It's like there's a theme tonight. You know what? I love that you said you're trying to stay positive because part of you realizes that's where your higher self would be coming from. Remember, the higher self is our divine self, and it is always in a state of love. It is always looking at things from that place of love with loving eyes. And it's not judging things as hard or negative, or it's just not judging. And so I love that part of you is getting that, and at the same time, yes, we're human, we're having these human things, and life really sucks sometimes, and the experiences we're having just like ugh, you know so again, reach for that higher part of you, trust in this journey that you're on. And if, more importantly, the guides are saying what would really be helpful to you is recognize the role that you're playing for others, and know that on some level you've agreed to play this role. And being a caregiver is one of the most challenging, difficult, hard things that one could do. And so many of us will go through that. And what they said is they would have you remember from your soul's perspective this role of seeing the divine in someone else and honoring that divine within them, knowing this has been a sacred journey. All of our journeys are sacred. Yours is sacred. Those that you're caregiving for are sacred. And knowing that you can assist someone in this way on their divine sacred journey is huge. It's just huge. And it's such a beautiful role to play. And if you could keep putting it in that perspective, it's like be thankful for the opportunity to accompany someone on their journey in this way, and keep coming back to that place and understand it's really big work that you're up to, and it's really just a beautiful gift you give to others. And when you can recognize it like that, it's almost like they're the ones giving you the gift, giving you the opportunity to assist them on this sacred journey. So it's really, really a lovely role. It's a difficult role. Again, that's a judgment, though. It will challenge you, and it will also allow the best parts of you to show up, and that's a really neat thing. And so, if you can go into that role, even in the morning or evening, whenever you're doing that, just say, okay, what part of me is going to show up today? And what part of me do I get to live in today? What aspect of me gets to come out and play today in this role? And remember, caregiving is about assisting someone on their divine journey, maybe out of this life, in their transition, and you get to make that better for someone. I was like, that's pretty powerful, and you may make it worse for someone if you're not in the right space. That's powerful too. Yet, when you look at it as your journey is sacred and theirs is too, it can make all the difference. So hopefully that helps. Okay, let me see here. Okay, another question here. Is my dad at peace? Did he know how much I cherished every moment with him? Okay. Well, like the guides were saying, our divine self only knows love. And so when we make our transitions, when we leave these physical bodies, we return to that state of presence, of being. And so, is he at peace? Yes. Is he back in that pure love state? Yes. I love that these questions follow each other. And I didn't plan this out. I'm just reading in order they come. You got to cherish those moments with him. And he is very much aware of that. And this is what I mean when you're being a caregiver. It's like they are so aware, whether they can communicate it or not from that human place. Uh, their soul is so aware, and there's so much love that's going back and forth. And again, sometimes you can't feel it, it's not expressed in the human way. But just like your dad being in this state of, divine love, cherish is a beautiful word. Cherish, he is felt, cherish, he is offering. It's like it's going back and forth. There's so much love and appreciation, so much love and appreciation. And you know what's really neat to hear too? This is from your dad saying this, that, and for all of you who've lost someone that's very close to you, this is a new way to relate. It doesn't mean that your relationship ends. The physical part of it does, yet the divine part of it begins. The intuitive part of it begins. The heart and soul part of it begins. And this is where you have an opportunity to learn a different language and to learn to communicate with those beings on the other side, those fathers. Many of us have lost our fathers. And it's like, we still can have a relationship with them. It's just different. It's a different vocabulary. It's a different feeling. It's a different sense of knowing. It's also going to help your intuition grow tremendously. And so while you're still feeling that loss, you're going to come to this place when you can hold that perspective that you have a relationship to look forward to. And I'm sure it's already started. He's already showing different ways he's around. So be open to that and what this brings. How's this going to serve you? It's really fun to be able to have a relationship with someone in spirit and to get the signs that they're around and messages from them, and they're really obvious about it. So a lot of times grief is so big we can't see any signs until we get through the grief. That's okay. But it'll pass. It will pass. We'll always have grief, yet the intensity of it will pass. And you will really cherish the new relationship and the exchanges that you have going forward. Okay, thank you for asking that. Okay, my question: do I have to worry about my daughter's health? Okay. Okay. So your guides are going to be a little funny, and they said they would tell you, no, you don't have to worry about your daughter's health, yet they understand that you will anyway. So whether they tell you no or yes, you're going to respond as if they said yes. Does that make sense? So it's just natural that you're going to worry about your daughter's health. And so I'm hearing to tell you that you don't. The other thing they would remind you, they're really hitting home some themes tonight, is that you're on your journey, you're playing a role, she is too. She's having a different soul experience than you're having. And so you're looking at her experience, holding a perspective that your higher self wouldn't necessarily hold. And if you could get to that place, and I know it's hard, it's a mother's love. It's like, oh, we feel so much for our children. Yet she chose you as your mom. Her soul is having this experience. And if you could reach that higher perspective and look at it from the divine eyes of love, that love will see her through this journey, and that remind yourself she is a bright, beautiful being. And that there is so much love around her, her own guides orchestrating for her to have the experiences she wants to have on a soul level, and also realizing what it will take to get her to reach that connection with her divine self and start living from that place. And so keep looking from those loving eyes. Remember, what we focus on expands. And if we can see with love that there's purpose in her journey, there's something in her is being faceted, is being polished and shined. Can't see it yet. Just trust that there's something happening there, and keep holding those divine loving perspectives towards her and her journey, and realize some on some level her soul has chosen this, that things are being polished and maybe even carved, all of that stuff. And try and stay in that place as much as you can, knowing that she's got guides around her too that want to help. Okay. And I also heard you just say, not just guides, there's some real loving aspects around her that want to help too, that are in spirit, departed loved ones that are very much wanting to help too. So she got some extra going on there. You need to remember. Okay. Okay. Let me see here. This is a long question. I'm going to try and so I'm going to skip a little bit if I can. My sister and I lost our mother almost 2 years ago. Uh, we do believe she's still with us. It's allowed us to navigate our grief easier. Uh, since our mother's death, my sister's been met with devastating event after devastating event. Dog died suddenly, severely injured in an accident, had to learn to walk again. So much, so much, so much. Um, Yet apparently she's had another devastation where she's saying her heart has been obliterated to death. So, long story short, to the question, okay, do the guides show additional suffering for her or any more devastating events? When will her trauma stop? Will she be rewarded for what she's enduring? How can I help mend broken hearts of my father and sister? Is there a message specifically for her that will give her a glimmer of hope, etc.? Okay, I'm trying to rush through here. Um, okay, that's a lot. And it's so clear how much you feel for your family, for your sister, for the hurt. And I would say your sensitivities are through the roof already. And then watching this happen with your sister, and even losing your mom and watching your father's reaction again, your sensitivities are just getting ratcheted up. And so you're feeling what they're feeling. You really are. Could you say that's empathic? Yes. And does that really just invoke every single part of you that wants to fix and heal and soothe and soften and comfort? Yes. However, you can't rescue people. You can't. You can send love. You can be love. You can shine bright and remind them that there's still bright things here. They have to come around to that. They have to be able to see it. Your father may never, he may never, and that's okay. That's his journey. And when he makes his transition and sees clearly, he'll say, wow. And, I can see clearly now. He really will. And he might understand that he wants to come back and give it another try with a similar experience so that he can, when he's human, look at it from that divine perspective. Yet just remember, even if he doesn't get it this lifetime, it doesn't matter, because as soon as he makes his transitions, he'll see clearly, and he will have so much love and appreciation for this time. He won't judge himself for making the decisions or staying in that funk or keeping that perspective that he did. So he'll be free from all of that. So just remember that. Now, there's a lot going on with your sister. There's no doubt about that. And like the question before, the woman's daughter, your sister, this daughter, chose these experiences on some level. For some reason, these things are happening for them, and it's more about, it's their experience. It's not your job to jump in and the rescue or save or fix. And it's your job to just be there if they need you. Let them ask for it. Let them come to the idea of like your sister, of what she needs. It's so powerful when we can identify a need and then ask for it, and reach for it. And instead of somebody just saying, here, you need this, here, you need this, here, you need this. And it's so much more powerful when it comes from within. um, and if you could just be there for her, knowing that she knows how to shine bright, knowing that these are temporary setbacks. Some people really put some stuff on their journey, and it's almost like some of our journeys are about getting so disconnected that the path to reconnection is what our journey's about. And then when we get that reconnection, and I'm talking about to our divine selves, it's like we're unstoppable. And so that could be what's going on for her. It's like, how much can a person get knocked down before they realize they still have the power to get back up? We have so many aspects within us. We have so many facets within us. And some of our soul's journey is about uncovering those facets and seeing what we're made of. And I would say your sister has some of this going on. It's a very different journey than yours. And your journey is to stay in your lane and hands free, be available if someone asks you for help. And if they do, and it's within your means to offer that help without taxing you in some way or compromising your integrity or your own values, then do that. And otherwise, take care of you. Keep being that demonstration of what's available. The best way to be a guide for others, to help others, is to be a role model and to live in your truth and to keep honoring that, honoring that, honoring that. And that is like, inadvertently, it shows people a way that it is possible. So, but remember, again, we don't know what another soul is wanting to experience. And we just have to be mindful not to project our thoughts and feelings about that experience onto them. They must be feeling this. They must be thinking this. Oh, poor them. Woe is them. Like, you can't do that. You can't do that, because that's not your higher self. Your higher self is not going to judge. Remember that. It's going to look with loving eyes and have care and concern for this, your sister having these soul experiences that she's having. And maybe you ask yourself, if this were happening to me, how would it serve me? And work with it that way. And then if she says to you, what am I supposed to be seeing from this? You could say, well, if I were having that experience, I would ask myself, how's it serving me? And this would be my response for me. And then let her take from that what makes sense to her, or let her learn to ask herself that question. Does that make sense? So that's big stuff, big stuff. I feel it. I know your heart hurts. Yet hold that space up there. Be in your divine, wise, loving self, without judgment, without projection. Wow, big stuff. Okay, let me see here. I'm looking at our time. I've got about 15 minutes and several questions to go. I'm just going to keep going in order. And thank you all for just your patience through this and really being here and participating. There's just a lot of stuff tonight. Okay. Let's see. Hi, Betsy. I'm not sure quite how to ask my question, but I'm struggling so much with my husband's sudden passing, and my usual sense of connection after loss is cloudy. So I guess my question is just what my beloved might want to tell me. And should I continue upon the path we started early this year? Okay. So, oh gosh, yeah, there's so many of you tonight, and it really, I feel it too. I feel the heartache and so many of these questions. And it's like, gosh, why do we have to be human sometimes? This human journey can really challenge us, you know? No, that's my human answer. The divine self, as the guides quickly remind me, would not have judgment about what everybody's experiences. And they would look at this with love and compassion, knowing that it's a very human experience. And on some level, well, on all levels, things happen for a reason. And your husband made an untimely departure. And again, that is a human projection on this. So remember this: a soul will not leave this planet, will not, unless it feels absolutely complete and with its purpose of being here and ready for that next venture. And a lot of times a soul will leave because it's not only fulfilled its own purpose, but it's also set something in motion for the rest of us here. Um, so with your husband's passing, hang on here. What I am hearing to tell you, and it's going to be hard to hear right now, from the human mind, yet hear this. Let your soul, let your heart, any part of you receive this. This is your time to shine. And this is your time to live in your brightness. This is your time to develop those sensitivities and intuitive abilities, your own psychic gifts. Yes, I'm hearing to tell you your own psychic gifts, your ability to know, to feel, to connect, to hear, to listen, to see. This is your time. This is a time for you to shine bright. It is the beginning of this journey for you. So you're still in that, liminal space of that ending before you can really see that something else is even beginning. So it's a little early to ask that question, if that makes sense. Your human mind just might not get it yet. Yet your beloved wants you to know he is still your beloved and he is still holding your hand, guiding the way. And he would love to participate with you in this part of your journey, but it's your time to shine bright. It's going to look very different than what you were imagining. I'm hearing yes to continue on the path that you started earlier this year. So again, that path, if you envisioned what it might look like when you reach the end of that path, is going to be different. Yet that's okay too. So there's so much love and there's so much faith in you and your ability to be here and to be in this. And that's what he's saying, is he is so proud of you, proud to have been with you for so long, and proud to get to just watch you in this next phase of your life and be there with you in spirit, watching you have this really human journey that's woven with a divine expression. So where he is light and love and just bright like the sun, he wants you to feel that. Always look at him like the sun. It's interesting. We just had the eclipse where it was totally blocked out. So it really reflects how you're feeling. But he wants you to remember him like sunlight. And if you really are missing him, just go out and put your face in the sun, and you'll sense him there. Uh, what a neat connection. It is changing, yet it's going to be really beautiful, bright and brilliant. Your time to shine. I love he's using the sun energy for you. So I'm sure there's way more to come on that. Way more. Okay, let me go here. Okay. So another question here. One of my closest girlfriends passed away in a car accident when she was 18. I was 16. I'm in my 50s now. I'm not going to read the whole thing. I had just seen her the week before. She had graduated high school. broken away from an abusive teenage relationship that gone on for years. She just met a new boy who's wonderful, looking forward to the summer and the rest of her life. I think of her almost every day in more recent years. I feel her with me so often. Does she have any messages that you can bring through? Okay. Gosh, even at 18, you think, are we really complete with our soul's journey? And that's what the guides, I'm so glad you asked that question. I love the order of these questions tonight. The guides, they really know what they're doing, I'll say. And even at 18, she was complete with her life here. And that's something you can trust in. It also looks like she volunteered to leave early too. And it feels like for her mother, for some reason. That's what it feels like to me. So I'm not sure what their soul contract is. She might have agreed to leave early, so I know this is going to sound really crazy, that her mother could have that human experience. So our soul evolves through the experiences we have here. And when we have these really big, heavy experiences, it's almost like our soul just leapfrogs lifetimes because we feel so much. And we have so much understanding and wisdom and compassion that comes out of a lot of these things. So anyway, your friend is very much around. Um, wants you to know there is truth to her feeling complete after all that she had been through in her lifetime, to finally realize, wow, I did it. I got here. And she's looking out at this. It was enough for her just to get there. She didn't have to go live the experience of, having that beautiful summer or having that wonderful relationship. It was enough for her to get to where she was and to know everything's going to be beautiful from this point out. I can go now. And that's how our souls operate. So she was complete. She got to where it was enough for her. And hang on here. I'm just seeing if she has any message for you. She set some stuff in motion too for her family. I feel like she had a sister. I'm not sure there, but it feels like there was a sibling. It feels like sister, somebody very close to her in that way. Um, that was that this really influenced, chose some different things for their future. So anyway, we are all impacted by things like this, and again, each soul, each of us impacted differently. So there was some of that at play, but she's in a good place. uh Hang on here. I'm hearing to tell you that she loves 70s music for some reason, and you can hear her in 70s songs. Um, that she is sending you messages through that. She prefers the 70s for some reason. So have fun with that, and maybe throw on the 70s channel tomorrow, or just throw on the radio, see what you get, because she'll bring you something forth in that. Okay, thanks for asking that. Okay, I've just got a little bit more time here. Okay, here we go. I got news on Monday, again, total eclipse day, that I have a spot on my face that's positive for melanoma. The ironic thing to me is that it's located on the center of my forehead, where I consider my third eye to be. I'm really blown away because I pride myself in having an above average healthy lifestyle. I feel it's a very strong message and wondering if there's any insight. Okay, gosh. Let's see here. Well, yes, you're right. It is kind of shocking that that would happen given your healthy lifestyle. Totally get that. And yet at the same time, it is not a coincidence that it is in your third eye spot. So when if you look at Louise Hay's work, where she associated an emotional relationship to every, illness or most illnesses. One of the things she says about cancer is eating away at the self. Melanoma is skin cancer. So if you think of it, this is so weird, but you're right. This is about your third eye. This is about removing what's blocking your third eye. It's almost like a eating away of the cover, the filter that's on your third eye. I am not hearing that this is something that, well, it may make you have to be concerned and keep in check as far as the physical stuff from now on. Yet I am hearing this is kind of your wake up call and your nudge to start moving in that intuitive direction and really begin. We are all psychic here. We are all intuitive. We all have wonderful right brains and hearts and souls and divine energy. That's what we're made of. And some of you are getting that message stronger than ever to start opening up that third eye and start living here in an intuitive way and really getting in touch with that part of yourself that can connect to all of this. And it may not look like connecting like I'm connecting or in the way that I do this. Again, it's all different. Yet, for you with the melanoma, it does look like, yes, it's time for you to recognize how divine you are, how intuitive you are, how much you do know and see, and to get out of your head and into that third eye. So think about this third eye represents heart, spirit, divine, intuitive, imagination, all of that. And it is about living more in that space. And they are assisting you, they said, with removing some of the layers that have grown there. So physically removing some of the layers that have grown there and also symbolically. Wow. Okay, I'm hoping that was helpful. Okay. All right, you guys, I like to keep our sessions within an hour, and we are right at our time. I will save these other questions. I might do another pop up by the end of this week. I'm not sure. I love doing these, and they are really fun. But I have your questions. I'm going to keep them. And I just, again, want to thank you for being here. Thank you for showing up and having an interest and for giving me an opportunity to share this work. And I just find so much value in working with the Akashic Records, and I really appreciate the opportunity to share the messages. There's some really big ones tonight. Um, and I look forward to your questions for our next session. And again, thank you for being here. Okay, bye.